All right, boys. Today we coming to you with this review for the Foxflash. So, just want to add, no one is actually paying me to do this review. This is was bought all with our own funds. So this is not a sponsored review by any means. So my opinions are my opinions 100%, and it's what I feel about the unit and what I think for sure. So you don't have to worry about any kind of shady type of sales tactics or anything like that. If I feel it's a good product, it is. I'll tell you. You know, this is how it comes. It's just in a cardboard box. Comes just like this. I actually kind of like this little rugged case. It's on the cheaper side, but still pretty cool to get something like this. Looks like it's made for stacking, so if you had two of them, you can see the little feet will fit here, and then they could lock in here, I believe. Y'all could chime in on the comments if y'all know if this is for the lock for holding. I believe it is. It's got two handles, as you can see. You can pick it up like this or like this, you know, and you can see the feet under, what I was talking about. And on the sides, if you see that, this little section here, I believe. Chime in the comments, y'all. So yeah, let's go ahead and open it. It's two clamps like this. And pretty much this is how it's going to come. Comes with this, a pen and a notepad, Foxflash notepad. Okay. And then it comes like this. You got this little utility box or whatnot. So inside of here, it's got some accessories. You've got some resistors that you might need to connect on boot mode to some PCMs. Looks like a Y cable for the power adapter. And you've got some adapters to convert to the bigger plugs if you need to. And some smaller ones here. That's pretty handy. I like that. I really like that. These are probably, if I had to guess, some adapters maybe for BDM. I'm not sure. Yeah, and they've got some adapters for you. You can cut the size to adapt to certain PCMs. Looks like a switch, a toggle switch. And these are probably the connectors for these. Okay, pretty cool. And right there you can cut to make your BDM pins. All right, all right. Comes with the bench box. One thing I gotta say, this does not come on here like this. I couldn't find this. I looked through the whole box up and down, I couldn't find it. What ended up happening is through shipping, I don't know where they put it, but it ended up being right here in the corner under this styrofoam. So I looked, tore everything up, I couldn't find it, because without this, you can't really connect to this, because what this is, if you ever have to connect to boot mode, this is the actual unit. Your serial number is under it, and that serial number is what you're going to use to register it. And as you can see, it's got a USB in, your power. Once you plug in USB, it takes 12 volt up to 24 volt DC. And this would be where you would connect either the OBD port or you would connect this, which is called the bench box, right? And of course, you got a port if you got to connect to JTAG mode. When you need to connect on the bench box mode, you will have to use this, right? This adapter, because what happens is this is the connector right here that you're gonna connect up to, and you cannot fit them together because of the form factor. So this basically is an extension, right? So you'll be able to put this in here, and then now you can fit to actually reach to the Foxflash. And one thing you can see, look at that. This is not the best, you know where we're dealing with, right? So it is what it is, right? This is pretty much brand new. It is brand new. Bench box you're going to use when you have to connect boot mode to a PCM. So usually if you've got to disassemble a PCM maybe to access the boot mode, you would then connect the bench box to the Foxflash, right? And the software will always tell you when you need to do that. It always has a little diagram at the top to let you know if you need to connect the bench box, or if you're going to need to connect the orange, or what is this, orange cable rather, right? Or the blue cable, right? In this case, it's truck, which you're probably rarely going to ever use this one. mostly you're going to use this one, the car interface, right, which is the orange cable. It also comes with its USB cable and power adapter. Mine came with a European. It's a 3 amp adapter. I could always put an adapter on there if I wanted. I've already got another power supply, and it also has the BDM cable, the breakout cable. I'm going to show that to you in a little bit. I've got it hooked up to a PCM, and that's what it looks like. This phone, you can kind of pick it up and pull it up if you wanted to. Reuse the box if you wanted to, and that's pretty much how it comes. Okay. All right, guys, I will be offering this for sale on the channel. At the moment, we don't have it available for sale, but it will be coming. And of course, definitely like all the other products we sell, you'll get support directly from us as well. And depending on when you watch this video, check the description of this video, and the link might be up there to purchase this. Now, I've got a video of actually using the Foxflash to clone a GM E69 ECM. I'm going to put a link in the description so you can check that out. It does that one, and basically it reads the whole memory space as one file, and then you can then clone that and write it to another ECM. It's pretty smooth, pretty good. It works flawlessly. I've tested it multiple times. It does good on that ECM. I've tested it on a couple other GM ECMs, and it does good as well. I haven't had any issues. I'm currently working on a Hyundai Kia Sorento SIM2K-240, and there are some issues there, but that's might not necessarily have to do with this. Okay, I will say overall, all the hardware, these cables that it comes with, to me, they do seem like very decent quality. I don't have anything bad to say about them, except for stuff like this, right? But that's not really going to affect you much. But overall, everything looks pretty good. I wouldn't. It's not something that you look like, oh my god, and it's falling apart. The whole thing is the board is falling out or something like that. No, it's pretty sturdy. It's fine. It's fine for what it is. All right, guys. Here I'm going to show you how to basically download the software and install. So you would go to the actual Foxflash website, which is dbftechnology.com. It'll bring you to the homepage, which is here. And at this point, you just go to download, and you would click Foxflash Manager Tool, which is a small download. I believe it's only like either 1 or 5 megs. You install that, and that is the manager. And what the manager will do is then, I'm going to show you in a second, it will prompt you to install the actual program, right? You can also download here the ECU driver list and TCU driver list, so you can see the devices that do work, that it is compatible with. I've got it already downloaded and open here. So, for example, one important note, like if you're looking for a certain processor or whatnot, so like let's say for 9.6.1, which I did, I've got a video on that. And as you see here, there's it comes up here under Ferrari, I believe, and Maserati. Yeah. So there's 3 of them here. But it will not find the ones which is used for Chevy. So let me show you. You can always try it like this without the periods because they just might not have formatted it properly, right? So this is it. It's really 9.6.1, but they formatted it incorrectly. And we can see here, you go under Cadillac, and you can see it's car SRX, and that is our chipset for the E69 ECM, right? And it's read and write functions, and it's done directly over OBD. You don't need to be in bench mode or JTAG mode. So that's how to use the document. And once you download the Foxflash Manager tool, you just install that, and this is what it's gonna put the icon on your desktop. You open that up. I'm gonna open it here for you. This is also to note. This is an internet tool, an internet only tool, I would say. So you do have to have an internet connection to do this. That's one thing to keep in mind because of the way the system is. If let's say their server goes down one day, this tool pretty much is going to become a paperweight, right? So that's something to keep in mind, right? Um, when you first open it, I have download and I have install driver. You will not have install driver. You'll just have these three. To activate, it's going to the first time it's going to prompt you to activate your actual PC, right? So it's going to have a hardware ID and it's going to prompt you for your email address. You enter your email address and it's going to come back and ask you to activate again. But this time it's going to have a require a key. But the key it's actually asking for is your serial number on the bottom of your Foxflash device. So you put that in and then you download the software here. You hit the download button, and it's going to go seamlessly after it's done downloading and installing. And then you will have the Foxflash icon on your desktop. You then close this out and open it back up, and you will have the install driver button. You hit that button so it installs the current driver, the latest driver, and then you plug in your device. Um, at that point, you do activate. You'll be just like this, how mine is right now, and I hit activate and notice my date down here, my date and time. Like I said, this stuff does something a little shady. This is Chinese stuff, so you got to kind of expect certain things, right? Process started. I hit OK, and look at my date and time. You see what it changed the date and time to? The reason it's doing that, I don't know why it's doing that. But if I had to guess, coming from a programming background, I'm from IT, I would assume they're using certain tools or software that has a certificate that's valid from that date. And they're using that in somewhat of a bootleg fashion. And that's the reason why they have to always run your clock to that date to be able to activate and use that certain tool, right? Okay, so next step, once that is activated, as it says here, activated, you can then actually open Foxflash, right? And I don't have mine connected, but let's see what happens. It might fail since I'm not connected. Usually prompts for it'll show your serial number. See if mine will even open up. And it's now should open the actual program. Okay, so it's loading. It takes a little bit. As it's loading, okay. Yeah, this is an online only tool. Like I said, it always requires a connection to the internet to perform most functions. Um, and a lot of it, I guess, they're paranoid that the Chinese might steal their stuff. So if you get it, you get it. Um, so I'm going to go to select driver. This screen was open because I was previously here, but you will come to this main screen here. And at this point, you can pick the driver for what you want to work on. So if you're going to work on a car or SUV, you're going to the car OBD and see if it's available under there. Like for example, we were talking about there's an E38 ECM, and it's through CAN, as you can see there. And here's the SRX, and this is what we were talking about, the 961, which is the E68. That's how it's listed here. Um, we can go into Chrysler and see what they've got. PT Cruiser, Voyager. These are some older ECUs. Diesel. Okay. We got Corvette listed out separately. E5, E38. Let's see, 6, E3. Okay. Let's go to Dodge. See what they got on the Ram. Okay. I think this is a newer chipset. Nitro, Journey. And nothing comes up here. Normally, if there's a chipset or something that or a connection, this would light up green, and you can click this info button here to get a diagram to see what it is. I'm just going to go through a couple of these so you guys can see what's available. I guess more of the popular ones, right? Can see that. Let's try Escape, Continental, Explorer. They got the 3.5 EcoBoost, F-150. So they got the 5.0. And just because we're in the OBD mode, right? This is what's available. So you're going to have more options when you go on some of them if it's not here, or when you go into the bench mode, or even to the BDM mode, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Just because something is not here doesn't mean that the tool doesn't do it or cannot do it. It might just have to do it in bench mode. So we go to Fiesta, and again, you can check all of that in the ECU list. It'll tell you what mode it would be in, right? So Fiesta, these are just the ones in OBD2 mode. So 2.0, 1.5. Okay, this is pretty handy. I'm going to try one of these. I think I've got an ECU one of these here lying around the newer 2015 2.0, 2017 Ford Focus. And we're going to probably connect up to that and give it a try and see if it can read it. Fusion 2.0, 1.6. It's the same thing as the Escape. Okay, Mustang. All right. Transit Connect 1.6 and 1.5. There's a 2.5 for the Transit Connect. It's not here. Transit, those are the bigger ones. Yeah, they don't have the 2.5 in OBD. Hyundai. Let's see what they got. I'm just going to kind of go through it quick. You can always like pull up the ECU list and look at this at your leisure. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Um, Suzuki, Toyota, Camry, Corolla, Sequoia, Tacoma, RAV4, Prius, Land Cruiser, Volkswagen, Golf. Okay. All right. Let's go into boot mode. Let me show you the difference under, for example, let's check Ford. So it would go by the actual chipset, right? So you need to know the chipset of it, and then you would click here, and as you can see, the info lit up. So you hit the info button here, and it's gonna probably give you pinout and setup for that, right? So here's the ECM, right? Gasoline. It gives you the breakout of what all this is, and your hookups. As you can see, your ground goes here, 12 volt here, 12 volt here, and you got your CAN high and low there, and then you've got some interface here. Okay, so that's your hookup. That's what it gives you. I'll go back to Foxflash now, and you tell it okay. Okay, and from here, since I'm not connected to the ECU, this has it's grayed out because it needs to detect power. So I don't have it connected, so that's why it's grayed out. And as you can see here, it says boot connection, and this is where it's always going to show you what the type of connection you're supposed to use. So you use just the Fox Flash with the boot cable, right, or the breakout cable. Uh huh. And that's what this means right here. This image. So let me get out of here. Exit. Straight out. Let me see. My connection is. Got kind of stuck here for a second. Hold on. I'll bring you back in a second. All right, guys, we're back. So uh, I did have to. I couldn't. The exit was grayed out as you saw. I was still able to go here, and then I could get to the exit and exit from here. And when I did that, I tried to open the app back up, and it would not. It failed to open, and then I noticed the date was back to normal. So I just had to click the button that said actually still activated, and it then opened the app back up. So that's something to note. Like I said, I believe this is a little bit kind of bootleg how they have the setup going. So that's just something to keep in mind. Um, Okay, so yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to know the chipset of the whatever you're targeting to read, right? So let's see info here. For example, this Chrysler, I'll pull this one up. There it is. It gives you the pinout. And luckily, these, it looks like you do not have to open it. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. You can do it straight to the interface like that. Some ECMs, you do have to open it. Like, for example, let me go back. There's one I'm working on right now. It is a Hyundai Kia. Let's find that. It is TC1767 gasoline, right? Hold on, are we in? We should be in boot mode. Yeah, we're on bench mode. I'm sorry, we're on bench mode. That's right, right. So ours was actually. Let me check something here on the bench mode. But it's not listed for bench mode. But let me see something. Let's see what it pulls up here. Yeah, this is a different chipset. This is a different chipset. Yeah, that's not gonna work because our can lines are over here. Yeah. Okay. Back to tool boot. This is the boot mode, right? So this is where if you had to put an ECM in boot mode, this is where you would go to select it. So we would go to, for the example, the one I'm doing, we would select Infineon. Yeah, tri-core boot mode, right? And then you would select your actual processor, which is this is the one I'm working on. You click info, and it's going to give you a breakdown, and you can drill down over here on the left and look at other items under the boot menu, right? But this is the okay. We're going to find the one we're actually working on, right? So it would be under Kia. Let's find that Kia SIM2K-240. This is the one I'm working on right now. And as it tells you here, well, let's go to the English side. You would need use the multifunction cable, which is the breakout cable, four resistors, and at 1,000 and one at 2,700, right? And it's in the kit as I showed you earlier. And yeah, this tells you what options to get in on the software to get here. And this is the pinout, right? And this pinout is correct for this processor. Um, It's a tri-core, but my processor is my unit is actually different. Um, so these pads, right, BDM, they're sideways like this. They're not straight up and down. So it's a different configuration on the board. And if you go under, they have one, let's say on the 240R. Actually, the chipset layout here is also different. Um, so it's not exactly the same. It's using the same processor, but not the same board. So if we go to R, 240R, you can see it, and this is also a little bit different, I believe. And if you see here, they require a resistor to be soldered from here to this pad on this board, which is different than the board that I have. And it's the same chipset, by the way, but a different board. And you'll notice this is also different. The configuration of the board is different, so it requires you to gray wire. This is probably going to be your boot. So, and I believe the boot is probably just a ground. So you just solder these two together and connect it to the gray wire on the breakout cable. I'll show that to you in a second. Um, and that's how you would connect to this board. But like I said, the board I have is actually not listed here, right? But as you can see how these pads are sideways, that's how it is on my board, but it's not the same board. So this will not work either. So I actually know the layout for my board, and I can get it into boot mode, but I'm having an issue where it's not able to decode the password. So I'm trying to see what's going on with that right now, and I'll show you in a little bit. guys, let me show you what's happening on this one. This is a Continental ECU, as you can see, and there it is, SIM2K-240, right there. And here it is, the back side of it opened up, and I've hooked up to the pins for boot, and I'm connected onto the gray wire, which is the boot wire. And let me show you actually what happens, right? So I've got it all hooked up right now, the right pinouts and everything. So if we go on to Foxflash, and right now we're on to boot, and we went into here, tri-core, and this is the actual chipset. See if you can see that. See that there, right? We hit OK, and we tell it to connect. As you can see there, turn the dashboard off and wait. I've got it off. Enter. Turn it on. Enter. And as I said, the activity you see here is actually not, as you saw that it connected to the internet, is not the communication to the ECM, but this one designates communication to the ECM. This at the top is just communication with the actual tool, right? So remove power, that means turn it off and then turn it back on. Then you press OK. And it asks again, power off and back on. And I've tried varying time lengths to leave it off, and as you can see what happened here, you can see right there it identified the CPU correctly, right? It shows all of the information and it's protected, but the error it actually gave is that it wasn't able to read the password. And it tells you to try to go into the tri-core password function. So let's go ahead and go in there. So we're going to go to select driver, and this time we're going to go into tool password BFT, and then we're going to tell it OK. All right, and now we're going to tell it find password. Everything's still hooked up the same. It says turn it off and wait. Enter. We got it off. Turn it on and press OK. That's what we did. Okay, again, and it's basically going to be in this cycle for a while, and then it's going to error out. Off. Goes like 3 times. On. There it is, error, contact support. So that's where I'm at with this ECU right now. I'm gonna try some other ones. Tell you what, this video is getting kind of long. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here because I do have a successful read. Like I said, the link in the description of the E69 ECM clone and changing the VIN. So check that one out, done with the Foxflash. And if you do want to see some other ECUs, I've got a bunch laying around. I've got Dodge, I've got all kind of stuff. So just, let me know whatever you're interested in seeing. If I get enough likes on this video, I'll go ahead and maybe do 2 or 3. You guys write down in the comments of what ECU you'd like me to clone. Like I said, I've got pretty much all the Dodge. I got a lot of Ford and Chevy. So write it down there. Yeah, before I go, let me give you my overall thoughts on this unit. This is going to be a early review of just a few uses on the unit. Um, Over time, of course, I'm going to have a better view of the unit and can give you a deeper, in-depth review, which will be coming soon, of course. But as of right now, to be honest, I like the unit. I think it does a good job of what it does. I don't expect it to be perfect, but for what it is and for the price, I actually think it's fair. Like I said, the downside, one of the big cons I see is that, it is an online tool in the servers. There are, supposedly it says that this one can be offline as well. It should work offline. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure it would air out if I do try it. I'll probably try that later. Write down in the comments if you want me to make a video giving it a couple of different tries. But I like the unit. If I would given the option again to buy it again, I would. I think it's actually a good buy. The ECU support list is pretty extensive. I haven't tried them all, right? I've only actually tried about 3 or 4, and the 3 or 4 I did try, only one failed, which the one I just showed you. It might not necessarily be a fail. There might be some minor issue that you see that the Foxflash needs to read that, or something quirky, but I'm gonna keep working on that and update you guys on that. But the other ones I threw at it, it read them with no problem. So I think it's a good buy. If you have another reader like the FC200, I'm going to do an in-depth review on the FC200. That one, it's pretty good. It's strong on what it does. One thing, I believe it's more geared to Bosch, right? But it does not deal with like the Continental and other ECUs. So it's strong on that side, right? Whereas this tool you can dip into different manufacturers. So it definitely has its pluses. So I really like this. In fact, I believe, I haven't checked the list, but this might actually handle pretty much all the ones that the FC200 can handle and more. I haven't checked it all. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's a pretty good tool. Definitely, I would recommend someone to buy this tool. Now, there's the other tool, the KT200, and it does also have an option to buy the dongle. It's a USB dongle to where you can use it offline. Now that might actually, and pretty much I believe these come off the same assembly line. This is China, if you know what it is, right? So I would probably say if it might even make more sense to get the offline version, because this stuff, who knows how long this stuff is going to be up, right? Because once the server's gone, what's going to happen with this stuff, right? So if you can get an offline version where if the company goes belly up, then you can still use your tool, I think that makes a lot more sense, to be honest. But as it stands right now, at this early review, I would give this device relatively a positive review, and I would recommend it. So guys, hit that thumbs up button, leave the comments down there, and let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.